Hey everyone, welcome back to 5 Minutes Fluentcast. Today we're talking about a topic that has become extremely popular in recent years, intermittent fasting. Some people swear by it, others say it's dangerous, and many are just confused about whether it's actually good or bad for the body. Is intermittent fasting a powerful health tool or just another trend? That's exactly what we're going to explore today.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. I really like this topic because intermittent fasting sounds simple, but it affects the body in many different ways. People often try it without fully understanding what's happening inside their body, and that's when confusion or frustration starts. So today, we're going to break it down in a clear and realistic way.
Exactly. After this episode, the goal is not to convince you to fast or not to fast, but to help you understand how intermittent fasting works, how it affects your body, and who it may or may not be helpful for. Now, let's get into it. Intermittent fasting is not a diet, it's an eating pattern. Instead of focusing on what you eat, it focuses on when you eat. The most common approach is limiting your eating window. For example, eating during an 8-hour window and fasting for the remaining 16 hours. Other people follow different versions, like fasting every other day or doing 1 or 2 fasting days per week. But regardless of the method, the core idea is the same, giving the body longer periods without food.
And that's an important distinction. Many people think intermittent fasting means starving or skipping meals randomly, but that's not the goal. Fasting creates a different metabolic environment in the body. Instead of constantly digesting food, the body shifts into a state where it uses stored energy. That shift is what creates many of the effects people talk about.
One of the most talked about effects of intermittent fasting is how it changes metabolism. When you eat frequently, your body mainly runs on glucose from food. But when you fast for longer periods, insulin levels drop and the body starts accessing stored fat for energy. This process can improve metabolic flexibility, the body's ability to switch between energy sources.
That's why many people notice fat loss when they fast. But it's important to say this clearly. Fasting doesn't magically burn fat. It works because it often reduces overall calorie intake and improves insulin sensitivity. If someone overeats during the eating window, those benefits can disappear.
Another reason people are drawn to intermittent fasting is mental clarity. Many report feeling more focused and alert while fasting. This happens because fasting increases the production of certain brain chemicals, like norepinephrine, which helps with alertness. There's also evidence that fasting supports brain health by stimulating cellular repair processes.
Yes, and it's interesting because the brain evolved to function well during short periods without food. In the past, humans often had to think clearly and stay alert while searching for food. However, this effect is very individual. Some people feel sharp and energized, while others feel irritable, anxious, or unfocused, especially at the beginning.
This brings us to an important point. Fasting is a stressor, not a bad one necessarily, but still a form of stress. When done correctly, small stressors can make the body stronger, but when stress is too intense or combined with lack of sleep, poor nutrition, or emotional stress, it can backfire.
That's especially true for hormones. For some people, particularly women, long or aggressive fasting can disrupt hormonal balance. It may affect cortisol levels, sleep quality, and even menstrual cycles. That doesn't mean fasting is bad, but it does mean it's not one size fits all.
Another aspect people don't talk enough about is the psychological side. For some, fasting creates structure and reduces mindless eating. For others, it can increase food obsession, binge eating, or guilt. How someone experiences fasting often depends on their relationship with food.
Exactly. A strategy that helps one person feel calm and in control can make another person anxious and restrictive. That's why context matters more than rules. Health is not just biological, it's also emotional and behavioral.
One of the most important questions is sustainability. Can you maintain this pattern long-term without harming your energy, mood, or social life? If fasting improves your health, fits your routine, and doesn't create stress, it can be a useful tool. But if it feels like constant struggle, it's probably not the right approach.
Health strategies should support your life, not dominate it. The best eating pattern is one you can repeat consistently, not one you force yourself to follow.
So intermittent fasting is neither a miracle nor a mistake. It's a tool. For some people, it improves metabolic health, focus, and eating habits. For others, it creates stress and imbalance.
The key is self-awareness, understanding how your body responds and adjusting accordingly. There is no universal rule that works for everyone.
If you're curious about intermittent fasting, start gently. Try extending your overnight fast by 1 or 2 hours instead of jumping into extreme protocols. Pay attention to your energy, mood, sleep, and focus.
And remember, fasting doesn't replace good nutrition. What you eat during your eating window matters just as much as when you eat.
Thanks for listening to this episode of 5 Minutes Fluentcast.
Thanks for listening. We hope this conversation helped you understand intermittent fasting in a more balanced way.
Remember, health is about alignment, not extremes.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fluentcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new,
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
we post new episodes with real English and real ideas about life.
You can also download the PDF with the full transcript of this episode. The link is in the description below.
And here's an important tip. Try listening to this same episode every day for 1 week.
Repetition helps you understand more deeply, notice new expressions, and improve your listening skills.
This is how real learning happens, naturally and step by step.
See you next time.
Bye.